paper comes from? Wonder how money is made? Wonder what you can make with paper?
Ever wonder why?
Yeah, I wonder why it's taking so long to open this package.
Well, wondering why things happen is the first step to discovering the world around us.
Oh, Richard, I'm still wondering what this is.
Well, today we'll explore the wonder of paper.
I wonder what chews a nest to make a home for her family to rest.
72 Maple Walnut Street. It should be right here. But it's not. Can you help me? I have to deliver something and I can't find the address. What do you have to deliver? All these papers. Where did they come from? Good question.
I wonder, where does paper come from?
From trees, and that they take the trees and they take it to a manufacturer and they break it down into pulp, then they put it out on sheets and let it dry.
Paper comes from the tree's leaves.
Candace, how would you like to do an experiment?
Okay.
Well, lift this piece of clay, but be careful, don't hurt yourself.
Wow, that's heavy.
Can you imagine if you had to carry that piece of clay back and forth to school every day? And what's more, let's suppose you had to carry a piece of clay for each class.
That would be crazy.
That's what they had to do years ago before there was any such thing as paper.
You mean they wrote on these clay things?
Exactly. Watch. Later, people used the skins of animals to write on, but that was a long and difficult procedure, so other methods were invented.
I bet the animals are happy about that.
I bet they were too. Way back in time, the Egyptians, for example, found a reed called papyrus. They cut the reeds into thin strips and placed them side by side. Then they wove other strips through them, making a sort of mat. When that was done, they would pour water through it. After that, it would take the Egyptians hours to scrub the mat down to a smooth surface. Once they had that done, they would use it as paper, or as they called it, papyrus.
Imagine if we had to do that today.
Yeah,
So where do we get the paper we use today?
from trees.
From trees? That's hard to believe. Timber! Just imagine that this tree may soon become a newspaper or a comic book. Here's how. Trees are cut down in the forest by a saw, and then dragged off to a truck. The truck lifts and stacks the wood, and then delivers it to a mill. Have you ever seen this building before? It's called a pulp and paper mill. Still wondering how wood becomes paper at the mill? First, the wood is dropped into huge barrels that spin around. The sticks fall against each other until the bark is scraped off. Then they are chipped into bits and pieces and sent to a pulping plant. At this plant, the chips are heated, put under pressure, and then sent to a place called the refiners. Here the chips are separated into wood fibers. You can see the different steps on a computer screen. Next, the wood pulp is mixed with water. See? It kind of looks like mush. Then the pulp is fed onto paper machines. It's pressed and dried until it becomes newsprint. The paper is wrapped into huge rolls and then shipped off to the presses, where it will be used as newsprint.
You have to deliver all of these papers?
Well, my brother should really, but he's sick.
Well, I could show you how to get to Maple Walnut Street. Would you? Sure. In fact, for a small fee, I could show you how to get to all the houses.
What kind of fee?
Well, a 10% cut off the top of your net earnings should do it.
Huh?
Listen, pal, if you're going to go into business, you have to understand the financial side of things.
Listen, I'm just delivering these papers for my brother who is sick.
Yeah. I'll teach you all about it. There's big money in the paper industry. Big money.
When we return, we'll look at ways we use paper, from making money to making a mess, when Wonder Why continues.
Is this the right address?
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead and knock. Hi there.
Hi, we're collecting the paper.
Oh, where's the regular boy?
He's sick. I'm his brother.
Oh, I'm sorry he's not feeling well. How much do I owe?
A total of $3.50. Does that include my cut?
Shh. Just a minute, and I'll be right back.
You don't ask stuff like that with a customer right there.
So you teach me manners, and I'll teach you business skills. Simple.
There's a lot to learn about the paper business.
There is a lot to learn about paper. Things were never the same after paper was invented. The whole world started to change. Think of all the ways that you use paper.
I use comic books, magazines. I use paper plates, paper towels, and paper bags.
Right, but I bet you didn't know you could also make paper.
Really?
Right, just the way they did thousands of years ago. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. These are the things you need for the experiment. Some warm water, not too hot, not too cold. Some detergent. Some food coloring. A whisk. Some paper towels. A rolling pin. And of course, some newspaper. Okay, first you start with some detergent. You put a little bit into the water, and that helps break down the paper. The second thing you do is take your paper, some newspaper, and start ripping it up into very small pieces. The smaller the pieces, the better it soaks up the detergent and the water and helps make a better mulch. So here we go. We're ripping it up into little tiny pieces. This takes a long time. This is the most difficult part. So this pulp will soak in all the detergent and all the water. There we go. Tiny, tiny pieces. Now, we've got some more that we've ripped up over here that I'm going to put into it. And usually about 1 or 2 single sheets should do it. Now, as it soaks up, we also add some food coloring. And that gives it a color. Otherwise, it'll turn a real gray color. And we'd like to give this some color. Then you let your mixture sit, and this is what it looks like after it's sat for a couple of hours. We made this mixture up a little while ago. Next, what you do is pour off the water slowly. We're using a pan because we're outside, and you have to hold the paper back to make sure it doesn't run off with your water. If you're at home, you can use a sieve. Here, I'm going to use my hand. You pour off as much water as you can and save as much of the paper as you can. There we go. Once you've done that, you're left with all the soaked paper. And then you take a whisk and you start to smush it up. The longer you let it sit, the easier it is to smush up. And this is how you make your pulp. When you do this for a little while, you notice the paper starting to become a pulp. Oh, now the paper is really getting smushed up. See, it's starting to form a pulp. It's getting gooey. Okay, now that we've tired ourselves out making this pulp, the next thing we have to do is dry it out a little bit. So Candace, if you can give me a hand here, hold the paper towel. We're going to make a sandwich out of this. Now we're going to take the pulp and scoop it out onto the paper towel like this. And you can see it's really mushy right now. And what we're going to try to do is squeeze the water out by making a sandwich. Then we take the other half of the paper towel. And you're going to have to do this a number of times. We're only going to do it once just to show you. I'm going to put that there. We're going to take a rolling pin and squish it out. You notice how the water's starting to come out? You do this a number of times to get rid of the water. You're going to make it as thin as possible because afterwards, when you're done squishing the water out, you're going to let it sit and dry. And the better you've been at squishing the water out, the less time it'll take to dry. So once you're done rolling out all the water, you take your pulp aside and you let it dry. And after about a day or so, it looks just like this. We made this paper yesterday. You can actually write on it. So that's how you make paper. Well, it's kind of messy, actually, so make sure you have an apron or an old shirt on when you make paper at home.
Yeah, it's sort of wet and gooey.
Yeah, you got that right.
Paper is made up of 15% water. It needs water to stay together. If paper didn't have moisture, it would just fall to pieces. And that's a fact.
There you are, $3.50 for the paper and a 50-cent tip.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Making money!
Every day, every hour, every minute, every second, kids wonder, but they can sleep easy, because when they start to wonder why, I start investigating. I ask the questions. My name is Mark. Some people call me Question Mark.
Hello, Mark here. What can I help you with?
Hi, Mark. I'm Philip Gillette from Sudbury, Ontario, and I've always wondered, where does money come from?
Okay. The question came in at approximately 3 p.m. It was a good question, so I decided to take the case.
I made a few calls, tracked down a couple of leads. Here's what I found out.
The paper from which bills are made of is presently made from cotton fibers. That is, we use sort of rags and waste cotton from the textile industry, and this makes a very durable paper. And it also has to be a certain strength, and this is very important because banknotes or bills have to be very strong so that they can endure a rough treatment in circulation. The paper which you use, if a banknote or a bill was printed on, would probably not last very long. First of all, the bills are printed on large sheets, and these sheets contain approximately 40 bills. Now, these large sheets are delivered to the printing companies, and the printing companies have this very large equipment on which large plates are mounted. Now, these large plates are covered with ink, and then the paper, the large sheets of paper, are fed through the printing press, and as the paper runs through the printing press, these plates which carry ink are then come down or are impressed into the paper, and the paper then leaves the printing press, and there you have your bills. Now, these large sheets now contain 40 printed bills, and these large sheets are now delivered to the Bank of Canada, where we cut them into single notes, and we package them, and we send them off to the financial institutions or the chartered banks, where your mom, your dad, or yourself can withdraw money. It costs approximately 6 cents to print a bill, but that would include printing and the handling and the inspection process. Every day we print approximately 4 to 5 million notes. Now that works out to 80 million bills a month, and on a yearly basis that works out to approximately 900 million to 1 billion bills. Now you have to remember that what we print is basically what we do to replace the old banknotes which come back for destruction. The life, or the average life of a bill, is about 1 year. And after a year, your banknote or your bill becomes too soiled or worn. And at that stage, they come back to the Bank of Canada, where we destroy them with a shredding machine. And that's the end of it. It just becomes garbage. We cannot use the shredded material over again, because then we would have to reprocess it, and by reprocessing it, that would mean it would be sort of like a second-hand paper, and it wouldn't be new paper anymore, and therefore it wouldn't be as strong, and your banknote or your bill would not last as long.
So that's the scoop on making money. It's quite simple, but mark my words, spending it is even easier. No question about it. So that's another case wrapped up. Another day, another dollar.
Still wondering what choose a nest to make a home for a family to rest? We'll be right back to tell you in a couple of minutes.
Wonder how you can turn this piece of paper into this crane? We'll find out when Wonder Why continues.
How many more left of the list? One more house. I can't believe this many people read the paper. Did you know that thousands and thousands of trees are cut down every day to make paper? It's true. Paper products are popular. For example, millions of newspapers are printed every day on a type of paper called newsprint, which is less expensive to make than other types of paper.
You know, people have been making paper for a long time, and even though the way that we make paper today is faster and easier, the basic process is still the same. The first step in making paper is separating the fibers. The fiber is what determines the strength of the paper. We showed you earlier how the Egyptians used reeds to make their paper, and today we usually use wood. Other sources of fiber include rag and straw fiber. Take a piece of paper and tear it, then look closely along its edge. You can do this with other types of paper and see how much fiber they have in them. This writing paper is strong. This tissue is not. The strength of paper is determined by the length and the strength of the fibers.
Hi, we're collecting for the paper money. Oh, do you have a cold?
Billy Wonder here. What can you make with paper?
Airplanes. Paper airplanes. And I'm throwing up my sister. Origami. Paper toweling. You can make cards. Some cards are made of paper. And cardboard.
Hi, Candace. How are you?
Hi.
Come in.
Hi, my name is Candace.
Hi, my name's Takeyoshi.
What's this?
This is a paper crane made out of origami.
Why is it called origami?
It's called origami because ori means folding and gami means paper, so it's paper folding.
Could you make me one?
Sure.
How long have you known how to do this?
I started around grade 2 or 3 with the simplest ones.
Is it hard to do?
Matters what kind of design you're doing.
Can you do this with any kind of paper?
Usually I use square paper and any color you want.
Did this begin in Japan?
Yes, generally yes.
Lots of folding. Thanks, that's so neat.
That was quite a job. You know, Victor, I was thinking maybe we could go into the paper business together. Paper business? Yeah, you know, we could sell toilet paper, tissue paper, wrapping paper.
Hi, it's me, Willie, and today I'm going to show you how to make some marbled paper. Let's see if we have everything we need. Vinegar, and a cup, and some paper, of course, some cooking oil, and some food coloring, a couple of different colors. And, oh yeah, some warm water. And before we start, we should probably cover the whole floor with some newspaper. Don't want to make a mess. Now let's take the vinegar and pour it in the cup. We need, just about a full cup. There we go. Vinegar down. Drop it in the water. Oh, doesn't look like there's anything different. Now we'll take the food coloring and the oil, put a spoonful of oil, and mix it all up. Get it stirred up really well. There we go, nice blending. Let's add that to the water, see what happens now. Green. Boom! Hey, isn't that neat the way it sits on top of the water? Don't stir it up, just let it sit there. Okay, that should be enough green. Let's go back and get another color. See, a little red. Okay, stir it all up. Right there. Okay, put in one spoonful. Okay, don't mix that, just let it sit there. Okay, put another bit. All right, there we go, how's that? Okay, let's get some blue now. That's the colors I'm using. You can use whatever colors you want. There's the blue. Now let's put one spoon in. Oh, that's neat. All right. Now let's put another one in. There we go. Okey-doke. Now we'll just go back, get a piece of paper. And without stirring the stuff, we'll slip the piece of paper in there and let the colors get on it. Oh, maybe I should move my head so you can see what's going on. There we go. Now, let's take it out and we'll let it drip there for a second. And then we'll lay it down. And there we go. On a paper towel, we have marbled paper.
Newspapers.
Yeah, of course we sell newspapers.
No, I mean, look at all these newspapers.
Must be the afternoon edition. Guess we're going to need some help delivering them, eh, partner?
What have I got myself into?
Willie here. Still wonder what choose a nest to make a home for a family to rest? The answer is a wasp nest. A wasp called the paper wasp makes a nest out of, you got it, paper.
Well, I guess that wraps up our show for today. Remember, there is so much in this world to discover, so be curious, explore, and keep wondering.
Why? Why do you keep on getting all the presents?
Well, actually, Candace, this present was for you.
Oh.
Wonder where you can find reptiles. Wonder if reptiles really have cold blood. Wonder if dinosaurs were ferocious? Join us next week as we explore the wonder of reptiles.